So, as many of you already know, like those who have gone through an awakening process, that there seems to be, like, I guess you can say, challenges um, and feeling, I guess, sort of, there's a sort of a polarization. There's a kind of a split, sort of, between where you feel you're headed and where you've been, right? Um, and for me, I'm still probably going through that process. I don't know if it's like the latent part of the dark night of the soul kind of thing, and all that stuff. And to be honest, I I'm just where I am, and to be honest, I just like to start. I don't know. I feel like I've always wanted to embrace doing what I'm doing, not have people criticize any of that stuff. I don't get that here. And even if I do, I'm used to it. But at the same time, I'm still getting used to it, where everybody has a sort of expectations. And from the human side, from the egoic sort of perspective, I really don't give a fuck about that. Like, I don't know if you ever noticed it already. In my videos, I post what are things that I'm passionate about, things that interest me, and usually it's a lot to do with of course, it's astrology, it's music. Music is the top one. Astrology, I've been doing a lot because it was just kind of like an experimenting thing. And of course, I haven't done any swimming because I haven't swum for like 3 years now. Because of definitely the fear with the COVID thing and having like dizziness and it's a sort of a trigger now, you can say, where it's like if I turn my head to the right or to my left, sorry, um, and if it's a sudden movement, I don't know. It's also like a bunch of other things and a bunch of other. I wouldn't say excuses, but they are what they are because I pushed myself so far or rather too far, when it came to swimming. I wanted to just enjoy it, and then it became competitive. It became sort of like I want to be better, better. But I compared myself to many people, like in my teammates, even my coaches. And so I've always been trying to prove myself to other people and so it's like a very unconscious behavior that I've noticed, where instead of just doing what I'm doing and doing it for the fun of it, I worry about what other people do. So I used to say yes to like going to church and playing music, playing my flute or playing whatever instrument I have. I used to do astrology because I wanted to um, get people's approval. Same thing with like languages. I always relied on people. Even now, there's still that part where it's like, oh, it's like I definitely need people to. It's not learn, it's acquire languages, and that's what I really want to do. But I realize that it's like that's one of those things where I have to do a bit more digging and research into like how do I find really good resources where it's like it's for kids or something. So I just like, oh well, it's for kids. I discovered this a few years ago. It's like, oh well then, but I sometimes forget. And so I go back to old ways of like studying and learning and all that stuff, which never works. It doesn't lead to fluency. It's not genuine. That's another thing where it's like I want to be genuine, but I'm like, for what? For whom? Right? Am I being genuine for myself or not? Right? So I realize that I just have to be genuine for myself. So if I don't get people for that, it's like, that's what it is. That's from the definitely that egoic sort of perspective of identity and attachment to outcome, attachment to form. And in all honesty, sometimes I think my desire for stillness because of this trigger with this dizziness and the speed rooms, with the Meniere's disease, it's caused a lot of, in a way, I guess you can say maybe it's a positive push or maybe it's just a push in the direction of it's like I'm using beingness, at Eckhart Tolle's teachings, to just be, as a sort of an excuse to just be calm. So then I realized that in today's, I have like this program I'm in, and one of the things I'm learning is to be kinder to myself, but still being passionate and intense. So this is one of those things where I do things the way I do, and I think that in this case, I won't need to really communicate. It's not, the intensity can still be there without there being obvious intensity. Does that make sense? Because I have to calm myself down. I mean, to be honest, it is still scary at times where, because my mom has high blood pressure, and I was diagnosed with it back in 2013, around the same time as I had my tinnitus, therefore loss of hearing, and Meniere's disease, and all that stuff. Lovely symptoms. So, and humor is one of those things that at least I also learned that Plutonians, people who have specifically like Pluto with strong aspects to their sun and or moon, mine's like both. It has aspects to both of them. Luckily, mine's is conjunction and then trine to my moon, which is like it helps a lot in terms of how to deal with that toxicity, that sort of like the trauma, the intensity, the power struggles, and learning to grow with that and be like, shh, it's like as Stephen Forrest explained in his book, The Book of Pluto. He said it's like you have a PhD. When you have Pluto Sun, it's like you have this PhD of I don't know if he means like it's sort of like mastering it, or I don't know, maybe identified with that. But I noticed that there is a sort of a mastery that does happen in that kind of placement, right? So, but the point is that I wanted to make videos. I wanted to kind of share this as a way to tell people it's like, don't just be yourself. Don't just not care about what other people do, but focus more on literally like inwards. And I'm not doing this as a lot of advice. I'm sharing this because I'm telling myself this really. Every time we give advice, it's really a reflection. Every person is a reflection of ourselves. So I'm telling this really to myself and saying that, and it's more than just telling myself also. It's also, more importantly rather, it is about that sticking to your guns without force. So being present is really, that's now I'm rediscovering that's like, oh, I can still be present and not have it be some sort of excuse or reason or, so that I don't have to move a lot so I don't get dizzy. Because it's gonna happen, and I learned from that. So there are things that I do know that I've been learning to let go of, and one of the things is definitely like dying when it comes to certain situations. Like beginning of this year, I was a hermit because specifically of COVID and the trauma. I interpret it as trauma, but at the same time, yes. I used to get hit and beaten by my brother. I don't know. I felt like an outcast, and at least compared to like the environment I was in, my family. So it definitely developed that sort of mindset, or that mindset and opinion about the external world or this world, that I'll never belong kind of thing. I will always experience judgment, trauma, um, not necessarily bullying, but bullying in a way where it's like, it's not bullying, it's dishonesty, right? That's sorry, 5/5 thing. Anyways, so dishonesty, where with people who, dishonesty and honesty are things that I've always understood to be, it's not about divulging information. That's not what honesty is. Honesty is when you say something, it's honest, it's the truth. And I think that I get confused with that I mean, many people do get that confused, but I don't know. Maybe it's a language thing, but the point is that's what I'm saying. I've always kind of found it abusive when people are not completely honest. But now it's really like, it's one of those things I just like, I literally crossed that threshold. I went like from here to like being scared. You know, this is all relative to all the trauma and all that childhood trauma stuff, childhood, all that bullying, and then like my brother and the family and people leaving, um, and my interpretation. The whole thing was based on my interpretation, my belief about myself, the purpose I'm in here for, and about everyone here, the world, the humans, mainly. So it's just yeah. This does happen. I lose my train of thought, and so, but that's fine. I embrace that chaos, and that's what it's like, just have fun with the whole process. Just have like fucking fun, like just do it. And that's one of the things I'm telling myself right now. So in any case, yeah, so that's all it is. I'm like, I don't, to be honest, I'm not really wanting to, even though I am a teacher, I'm not really here to teach. I'm here to show. And that's going to change for sure. So bye bye. Probably, I might delete old videos. I don't know. The point is, I'm choosing to and committing to start embracing how I would shine. That includes going back to some sort of like this kind of thing where it's like I can be pretty but not vain. There's a difference, right? Pretty just means pretty. I'm not really pretty. These are my, I don't know as if anyone's ever had like house clothes, but yeah. This is one of the shirts that my sister got me so I wear it because it was a gift from her. So yeah, so I'm embracing my eccentricity, my intensity, my weirdness, my fakeness, as I probably see myself sometimes. I don't know. I feel like I come off fake, but it's like, am I? I don't know. I'll embrace that shadow and be like, okay, and use it to my advantage and say, whatever, because I use it to cool myself down, to calm myself down. I don't want to be like fucking stressed because I'm trying to fulfill y'all's, like desires and expectations. Like, whatever. Right? I don't know. That's the human thing. So, in any case, yeah, I usually don't want this to end, but I usually have just 15 minutes for each video. In any case, yeah, so I'm embracing not just my realness, like you'll see it. You'll see it in the videos, and you see it in some of the videos when I play music and when I astrology, the way I talk even, it's just the way it is, and like, take it or leave it, right? Yeah, learn from that too, because resonate with your own resonate with the desire of the frequency you want to fulfill in this lifetime. Otherwise, you're all just gonna get fucking like left behind, and it's just gonna, your life is gonna have meaninglessness. There's no purpose, but by being purpose itself, and that's one of the things that came to mind a few days ago, last week. It's just like, I am purpose, because we all come from love. We all stem from this intelligence of growth. It's just a shell. This is just a formation through mixing of okay. If you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. If you don't, you know what you do. Just, yeah. And one of the things I kind of didn't want to push, but also highly encourage, is that if you really have questions, then do just ask. But I may or may not respond to it, just how I see it, because it's like I have things to do, and I'll try to, I mean, this is what it's here for. I'm trying to show what I do. I try to enunciate. I try to have a good mic right here. I try to do things as best as I can. But if I don't respond right away, well, let's just say I can't control your reactions, let alone the fact that you react. I can't control that. You decide that. You always have a choice. You decide that. I will end this video right now. I'll see you guys later. Bye.